Hi. So, no, I actually don't have a problem with feminists. I am a feminist myself, and this is not any weird video. But when I look on social media, I notice quite a big amount of anti-feminist content, and not the kind of anti-feminist content that you would think, like, just fucking like alpha males on podcasts talking about how women should stay in the kitchen and that they should obey their men's rules, or like women on Insta Reels talking about that they wouldn't call themselves a feminist because they like their men and they like to cook and they love their men and they love to take care of them. Like, it's actually quite the opposite. Women claiming to be feminists, but only like showing very small knowledge about the movement. And I didn't make this video to bash women or gatekeep feminism. I want to make people understand the true meaning of feminism. So what I first want to get into is choice feminism, because that's kind of the whole like umbrella topic for this video. I'm gonna go into a few smaller like topics that are on social media that I don't find very, progressive. But first of all, I'm gonna explain what choice feminism is and how this is connected to any of this. So what is choice feminism? Choice feminism, or liberal feminism, how some call it, is the belief that the individual choices of a woman are inherently feminist. So according to a choice feminist, a stay-at-home mother and a woman working on a construction site are equally feminist because they both have chosen that form of education and therefore express their individual freedom. So things that are a product of the patriarchy, like wearing makeup to appeal to beauty standards, shaving your legs, or wearing a push-up bra, don't immediately speak against feminism if the woman chooses to do it for herself. The truth is that women never do these things for themselves. And before you come for me, of course you can use makeup as a form of art. But I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about the everyday makeup. Most people wear makeup to look pretty, and that's not always for male validation, but it's always for some sort of validation. In line of choice feminism, a woman undergoing plastic surgery is empowering. She's using her free will to fix traits that she doesn't like about herself and which bring her unhappiness. But the thinking really stops at the woman is making a decision to make herself happy. The harm of the normalization of plastic surgery can be explained with one simple word: fixed. Because why is that woman even unhappy with herself in the first place? Why does she find her nose too big, her lips too thin, and her tits too small? If something has to be fixed, then there has to be a problem motivating that choice. And this self-perception doesn't just develop like that, but rather the belief that something fully natural about a woman's body, like the size of her ass or her chest, is in need of surgical alteration simply because of aesthetics, is the result of an internalization of external factors. And those external factors are rooted in the patriarchal male gaze and reflects what general society deems a woman must look like to be lovable or desirable. In other words, worthy. And besides, is it really our choice? I mean, even if women have the choice of wearing makeup or shaving their legs, they still have to face the consequences of not doing so. If a woman is seen as unprofessional for not covering her breakouts or her eye bags before coming to work, and then gets negative feedback from her boss who tells her, hey, you look sick, you need to cover that up. Or a teenage girl doesn't shave her legs when going to the beach with her friends and they make fun of her for that, and then she shaves her legs 3 times a week. Is that really their choice? Of course we decide to do so, but only because we are expected to do so. Even if we are given the individual freedom to do what we want, it does not change how society believes we as women should dress and appear and act. It's like us women are chained up somewhere, and the only way to get out of those chains is by sticking our hands into a glass of acid to get the key out. We can either accept our fate and stay chained up, or we can go an extremely painful way to get that key and free ourselves. Yes, technically it is our choice if we want to be free from patriarchal beauty standards. But if we don't obey to those rules, then it will be uncomfortable and inconvenient. And not even beauty standards, also the way you want to live your life. A choice feminist might celebrate a woman's choice to put her career aside and stay at home with her kids and take care of the household while her husband works, as use of free will. But this kind of feminism oversees the systemic reasons. The mother possibly didn't find a place at the nursery for her child, so one of the parents had to stay home and take care of it. And since it's expected of women to take that job, it had to be her. Another phenomenon that we can currently see on social media is the uprising of the trad wife, which is the traditional wife.
Yes, I'm a trad wife, and I have trad wife duties. We're going to the grocery store.
I'm 19 years old, married, no degree, no 9 to 5, and I'm exactly where I want to be.
Women belong in the kitchen. Women belong in the kitchen. Yes, we do. What the hell else would I hone in my talents on? Just imagine this, but for a husband.
Conservative women stay at home, take care of the house, cook, take care of the children, and share all of that on social media. Women portray their 50s housewife way of living as the ultimate free will decision. And those women act like they morally stand above the patriarchy so that they can reclaim those fundamental roles without being oppressed by them, which of course is a complete illusion. A woman that puts aside her career and education for a man might be happy for the moment. She might be provided for, but there is always a risk that her husband might leave her or that he passes away. And yes, while in some countries there is insurance for this case, it will still be extremely hard for the woman to get back into work life. Without a diploma or work experience, it's very hard to find a good paying full-time job, to fund the house, to fund the car, to fund the children, all which her husband took into his own hands. Another example of an action supported by choice feminists is prostitution. A woman creating an OnlyFans is just as valid of an occupation as someone working as a waitress or a doctor. Anyone who criticizes those women for working that job is slut-shaming. But the reality is that those women we see on social media having an OnlyFans or doing porn are doing it for the easy money. The portion of women that get successful in this industry is very low, and there are many risks that come with it. Taking this kind of job might make it hard for you to get a normal job in the future. Those women show us how to get easy money from posting your body on those platforms. But the reality is a lot different for sex workers all over the globe. A study interviewing sex workers shows that 84% of the women in the industry decided to become sex workers due to a lack of financial resources, and 25% started because they were deceived by another person. 94% see it as their only option for survival, and 89% of the interviewed women have tried to leave the profession without success. Another issue with sex work is the common violence that women in the industry face. 90% of those interviewed have suffered violence. Most women also suffered from experiences of victimization, such as sexual abuse in childhood or violence in intimate relationships, in addition to the violence related to sex work. Regular drug use is also a common issue. 67% had consumed drugs, and 46% had suffered physical or psychological disorders that affected their health as a result of occupation. Factors that led women to use drugs include insistence of their clients, or using them as an escape mechanism, or to manage the harm caused by the work. The UOC researcher says the use of alcohol and drugs, especially cocaine, is explained by the pressure exerted by some clients who want to experience paying for sex and taking drugs. They may also find drugs or a way to escape from reality. So how big is the amount of women that decide to create an OnlyFans or work as a prostitute freely in reality? If so many that do it without being forced have such bad experiences. So what do I want to say with this? No, I'm not judging any woman that does any of these listed things, because that would be a double standard. I mean, I'm wearing makeup right now. Like I said, the point of this video is not to bash women or to exclude them from feminism. But something we have to start doing is seeing those things as what they are. I'm wearing makeup because I find myself more pretty that way, because that's what we are told what pretty is. We wear makeup get plastic surgery or wear a push-up bra because of patriarchal standards. Women decide to be housewives because it's expected of women to take care of that stuff. Women get into the sex industry, not because it's their dream job, but because they see it as the only way or a good way to earn money and finance their lives. Yes, there might be a small amount of women that get into this industry because they really like sex or because they have certain kinks, but even if those women decide to do it wholly for their own pleasure, and are not influenced by external or internal forces in any way, that amount of women is tiny. We need to stop pretending like the patriarchy isn't a thing anymore and women decide to obey those fundamentalistic standards because they feel like it. The second problem I would like to talk about is the current popular picture of a relationship that we see on social media. Provider boyfriend and spoiled princess girlfriend. And while I see some criticism online, a lot of women don't seem to get the problem with this relationship dynamic yet. Many women on social media urge girls to date up to their standards.
You cannot convince me that a true man that provides for his woman and has his woman like looking good, right? You cannot tell me that he doesn't feel good about that.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Now everybody's ganging up against me. For what? What the fuck did I do?
If he wanted to, he would. And this quote can be interpreted very differently. There are some women who use it in a way that I can agree with. Like, your man showing you his love, not in a materialistic way, but emotionally. Giving you compliments, showing you support, and just, I don't know, generally being a good boyfriend. A lot of women also interpret this quote in a materialistic way. If he wanted to buy you flowers every week and take you out to dinner, then he would. But seriously guys, let's stay realistic and actually think for a moment. I'm pretty sure everyone would like to spoil their loved ones with expensive gifts. Not just like their romantic partners, but also their family and friends. But how many of us that want to do this are actually able to? Let's imagine you're dating a guy that can actually afford all of those things. He takes you out to dinner, never lets you pay, he buys you flowers, finances your home, whatever, all of that. How is it feminist to expect all of this from a man? Because to me, this relationship just sounds like dependency. And this is kind of like the whole trad wife thing. Your man pays for your shit. He buys you a nice car. He pays for your house. All on his name, by the way. And it makes the woman feel like she has control. She chooses this. She takes his money. But what if he decides to break up with her? He has the power. He's not financially dependent on you. You're financially dependent on him.
So you want a man to pay all your bills, you want a man to provide your whole entire lifestyle. Okay, before you wish that, let me tell you what my friend went through. She's with a provider man. Well, she was with a provider man. He paid all the bills. She forgot to cook dinner one time. Buddy kicked her out. She called me. Hey, can I come over and stay with you? I said, oh man, I'm out of town. Like, what about your car? She said, yeah, he paid for that too. I was like, hold on, forget the car. You can just get a hotel. She was like, yeah, I don't have any money. I said, you don't have any money? She said, yeah, I don't work. I haven't worked since I've been with him. And he gives me allowance, but I spent it all. I said, you spent it on what? She said, Lululemon and Chanel. Yeah, she's right.
I mean, as we can see in this TikTok, I mean, I don't know if all of this is really true because it seems like very, you know, like comedic. I don't know what really is funny about this situation. Like, I don't know what good friend would like laugh at his friend that basically loses like her whole fucking life. But we can see people talk about this kind of situation. Like, we can see like there are many women online that got everything provided for. Their man paid for their house, their man paid for this and that, and then that man leaves her. Another issue that comes with this relationship dynamic is that it fits right into the sexist pictures of gold diggers. And there are many names for those women: gold diggers, sugar babies, findoms, 3 different things, but they all have the same pattern. A man spending money on a woman for her to stay with him. And yes, while a normal relationship, that's not the main part. The whole if he wanted to he would, or get yourself a provider boyfriend thing is basically that. If your man doesn't live up to your standards, which is providing you with materialistic things, then he's not worthy of a relationship with you. Just how a sugar daddy that doesn't pay a sugar baby enough, or a pay pig that doesn't pay their mistress enough, isn't worthy of dating or I don't know, paying attention to. This dynamic is exactly what online incels are looking for to feed their delusions of women only wanting men for money. Seeing those videos might put unrealistic standards into young women's heads. They're gonna look at their 17-year-old boyfriend and think, why can he pay for the newest video game for himself, but he can't take me out to dinner and buy me flowers once a week? And yes, of course it's okay to get gifts from your boyfriend or let him take you out to dinner, but you should do the same. I mean, I love it when my boyfriend takes me out to dinner, but when I feel like ordering pizza, I also say, hey, do you feel like eating pizza tonight? I'll pay. And this shouldn't be controversial. Like, it's 2026. By now, I would have thought that a 50-50 relationship is completely normal. The next one is probably the most harmful for the feminist movement and the one which is setting us so far back. It's the specific kind of corner of the internet that claims to be feminist but actively bashes men. And while I do think that men in today's society are often sexist in some shape or form due to the patriarchy and the way we are all raised by society, those women don't really see it that way. They often claim to be man haters. They get the ick at their boyfriend and don't want anything to do with men because girlhood is what's truly important, and men will never understand it. And what is this girlhood, you may ask?
Super milk in collagen face mask on.
Makeup, dressing up, and the color pink. Oh, how wonderful. Makeup and dresses are for girls, and boys can't wear the color pink. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, men who wear makeup do exist. Men who wear more feminine clothes exist. Oh, right. No, but those men are gay. Well, there are many other traits that women claim are too feminine and that give them the ick when men do it. One of them is getting coffee. But we are specifically talking about like iced lattes, frappes, boba, matcha, that kind of stuff.
I need to enjoy your cocktails. Heavy on the cock. Why would a man be there? Why would a man be there? No, it's actually pissing me off. Oh my god, it pisses me off. Why would a man be there? Why?
You are a man? You're getting a matcha? Why you cannot be a macho? Suck it up.
An espresso or a normal cappuccino is totally fine, but like, I don't know, a man ordering boba, that's weird. Like, that's for the girlies. Get out of our territory. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know what the goal is, but I'm pretty sure we want to abolish sexist stereotypes, not highlight them. The whole, why would a man be there? Or, do you need a tampon with that, you little bitch? Trend? It's like a mother telling her 5-year-old son that he can't wear the Disney princess dress for Halloween because that's for girls. But it's your grown ass telling your boyfriend that he can't drink a fucking iced strawberry matcha because that's girly and that's for girls and it's not for men and it's giving you the ick. And often those videos are just straight up homophobic. This pretty recent viral audio, heavy on the cock, and the videos below it basically imply that certain things men do are gay, like having Snapchat Plus or wanting to spend time with your friends. And I'm not saying that jokingly saying that your boyfriend is in love with his friends because he spent so much time with them is homophobic. But some of those videos really get out of hand.
I need to enjoy your cocktails. Heavy on the cock.
Yo, can I get a venti brown sugar oat milk shake and espresso, sub almond, because oat's been hitting weird?
Would you like a tampon with that, you little bitch?
Just because a man doesn't text first doesn't make him gay, or what those women actually mean less masculine. Because of course, gay equals feminine. Like, there aren't masculine gay men out there.
Why would a man be there? Why would a man be there? It's actually pissing me off. Why would a man be there? And it's like a guy standing in line at a fucking boba shop or at any kind of like traditionally more feminine event or place. I fear we're perpetuating and pushing the gender norms that we're supposed to be fighting against right now, right? The idea that men should feel comfortable embracing certain feminine qualities in order to make their lives better and not become totally deep-rooted in masculinity.
Now, what do I want to say with this video? I got into 3 main issues on social media that are portrayed as feministic and iconic by some women on there. The goal of this video isn't to defend men, it's to show those women that we are kind of losing the plot right now. Just because you say you hate men and then do everything to please men, but defend that with the idea of choice feminism, doesn't mean you're feminist. Now, what even is feminism? Or rather, radical feminism? Many people believe that radical feminism is just extreme feminism. Radical feminists hate men and want a matriarchy. But that's not really the case. The word radical comes from the Latin word radix, which means root. Basically, radical feminism goes to the roots of women's oppression. Radical feminists sought to abolish the patriarchy in its entirety, not merely reform it. Unlike liberal feminists, they believe that changing the law or equal rights amendments aren't sufficient enough, and we instead have to transform the entire structure of society. One important slogan said by radical feminists is "the personal is political." Earlier feminist traditions mainly focused on the public sphere, voting rights, employment access, legal equalities. But radical feminists argued that women's oppression is just as intense, if not more so, in private life. Patriarchy creates distinction between the roles of both sexes in public and private spheres, and that its regulation of sexuality was one of its principal mechanisms of control. Domestic violence, martial rape, and sexual coercion was therefore not private misfortunes. They were political problems maintained by a patriarchal system. A tool for understanding how the patriarchy works was written by Gail Rubin in her 1975 essay, The Traffic in Women: Notes on the Political Economy of Sex. She basically introduced the concept of the sex-gender system, which she defines as a set of arrangements by which a society transforms biological sexuality into products of human activity. In short terms, the biological sex, male and female bodies, is real, but the social meanings and traits attached to it, who should be aggressive, who should be emotional, who should provide, and who should be provided for, are cultural constructions, not facts by nature. So in order to stop oppression, we have to grab sexism by its roots, which is the patriarchy, and abolish it. We have to stop categorizing certain traits as feminine and masculine. We have to stop thinking that a healthy relationship is one where a man shows his love through materialistic value. And we have to forget about gender as a whole. I'm not talking about sex. I'm not talking about male and female bodies. I'm talking about the concept of gender. What is male and what is female? What jobs are for men and what jobs are for female? That is gender. Sex is just what you have in your pants. A man wearing a skirt shouldn't be gay or trans. It's completely normal for women to wear pants nowadays. That was frowned upon a few generations back. We have to stop making ourselves financially dependent on men just because it's convenient. At the start, we are cherry-picking parts of the patriarchy that benefit us women without realizing how they are actually oppressing us. Cultural norms are often difficult to reverse, especially when they aren't named, but awareness is the first step. You can start by acknowledging that some things you do are not feminist actions just because you choose to do so. You can start by taking out your boyfriend for dinner too. Yes, you can like feminine things, but let's stop seeing them as something for women. Maybe if we start looking at feminism and gender this way, we will make it out of the patriarchy eventually.